That's close.
Ooh, that nearly all went wrong, didn't it? I like that. This is what I feel like when we watch live TV or the radio and something happens and you kind of know something's happened but you don't know what.
It's like when the London Marathon the other day, do you remember? And it got to the final 5 minutes of the top runners and the satellite stream started going all pixelated.
Oh yes.
And no one could see it. And you're like, no, you've committed all this time to that, the whole 2 and a bit hours, because it's like, how do they run a marathon in that short time? But you get to that whole, like, who's going to win? And then it was like...
Yes, it did all go. Hello, everyone. Oh, well, that's a nice picture of us. Oh. I always get it up on the computer here as well so we can see, and it was a very nice picture.
Hi, Hannah.
Hi, Hannah. You're right.
So, I'm back.
Emily's back, everyone.
Yay.
I'm hoping you can watch this because I'm struggling to watch it here. But Emily is back. This is my wife, Emily. She is one of the co-founders of The Outside Bride and Baylily Bell Tents, OBS. And she's back. Where have you been? I
have been to Namibia. I've had an amazing week. And firstly, thank you to all for looking after him when I was gone. Although I have started to watch a little bit of the social media stuff back from the last 11 days. And I don't quite understand how or why he was wearing his Aria flight suit in a live.
You know what? Hindsight's a wonderful thing. And even I'm questioning the gimmickness of me sitting
I don't know if
here.
it was a gimmick or like you'd just gone on a little bit doolally from having the kids by yourself for a week.
I think I was starting to go doolally. That is fair enough.
Anyway, so I've been in Namibia. Alan may have given a bit of the backstory as to why I was away, but
We put a blog out on it.
Both of us are involved with a company called Racing the Planet, which is an amazing company that does multi-stage ultramarathons across the globe. So they have a 4 desert series, which includes the Atacama Crossing in Chile, the Sahara, but it's not been in the Sahara for the last few years due to...
What up, Rosemary?
It's not been in the Sahara due to the conflict and stuff, so they've moved that down to Namibia. The Gobi Desert in China, although that's going to be in Mongolia this year, and then the last desert in Antarctica. And if you've done 2 of those first 3 races, you qualify to the Antarctica race. So that's what they do, and they have every year they have a roving race. I did it in Madagascar and Jordan, and where else have they been? Iceland, loads of places. And I went along for a week to help with the marshalling of that race and supporting of all of the runners who were taking part in a 250 kilometre race. I slept under the stars, I was in tents, I took my campfire coffee because that was a nice job in the morning, a bit of a treat.
Yes.
And pretty much managed to do what we do in our day job, apart from the nice luxury duvets and stuff, but I was in a tent for a week camping, which is so nice.
So it's not quite a busman's holiday, but like...
No, but I did have to put a fair few tents up again because they
did you?
Because the local team couldn't do it, so everyone in the management tents were like, Emily, could you just go and sort that go over?
The joys of being a volunteer.
But the thing is, having a day job where you put tents up and your business is core March to September, we don't ever go camping, do we?
No, this is true, we went camping last summer with the kids.
For
the first time since we've started this business. And bearing in mind, before we had started the business and kids, we were camping, however many times a year. And last year was the first time we took our kids. They don't even camp in the back garden.
No.
So, don't judge us, everyone. But yes.
So that was cool. So that's where I've been for the week. It was quite nice to switch off. I had no mobile phone signal, no Wi-Fi.
Hi, Claire.
Hi, Claire. Nothing like that. I had no way of contacting Alan during the race. I'm really glad that he didn't kill the kids.
Oh, I wouldn't. I love them too much. You know that.
And yeah, that's what I did, and I have got a little bit of post-holiday blues because pretty much... I've tried my hardest not to call it a holiday, and I've been calling it an adventure. Adventure blues, post-adventure blues.
Post-adventure blues.
Because I arrived back in the UK at 6 a.m. on Monday, got in the car, drove here, said bye-bye to Alan as he went to work for Baylily, and back into reality straight. We went, hike is done. So what did you do at the weekend, Alan?
So... I took some tents down. We'd put some bell tents up for a wedding we'd been at. That was kind of chucked on me. I was gonna ease into it gently. I'd just come up with something to say.
Okay.
Let me think. Sorry, train of thought.
We had a wedding. Where was the wedding?
We had a wedding. We'd put some bell tents up at a wedding and a 13th birthday party. So bank holiday Monday, when you came home, I went round to take them all down, which was fine, no issues. And wedding tents were up at a venue we'd never come across before, and it's an outdoor venue, obviously, the Bell Tents. So it was actually really, really nice. It was in the middle of the South Downs. It was in Hampshire, near a village called Hambledon, if anyone from Hampshire knows that. It was called the Wrigley Tin. Now, I've written Wrigley Tin down, even though I know it's called Wrigley Tin, but I'm now thinking there's a third word.
The Wrigley Tin.
The Wrigley Tin, yeah, the Wrigley Tin. And actually, it's probably a 3-acre field. I'm drawing now. That's what I would do. I'm a doodler. It's a
on my new notebook.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Emily's pineapple notebook. It's a 3-acre field in the middle of the South Downs with like beautiful views and everything else. There's a wood hot tub in one corner, and then there's about 6 or 7 shepherd huts. You know, the ones on wheels, the tin huts, the Wrigley tin is the corrugated tin on the shepherd huts. Nice. And they've all got wood burners in and everything else. And then into one side of the field, sort of middle left, is a communal area where they've got a fire pit and they've got like a shack, a shelter rather than shack. And you can kind of sit there, and I presume that's the mingling area. And, you know, if you think about it as a hostel, that would be the communal lounge. I was trying to think of a decent analogy, and that's all I could come up with. But it was really, really nice. They're not licensed for weddings or anything like that. I think it's one of those low-key affairs. They don't smash weddings out, but the odd wedding is allowed. But it just made me realise, you know, we as Baylily Bell Tents and as, you know, the Outside Bride and the Outdoor Wedding Supplier Network, we do get that question a lot of where can we go, you know. And Emily and I always talk about when we got married and we wanted a field, and we drove around Swanage area with an ordnance survey map, and we obviously know there's back gardens, and we obviously know there's family back gardens, friend back gardens, as well as stately home back gardens. Then there's obviously farmers' field and campsites, but then there's these little nuggets just come in, you know. And
I think we've done a post on this recently.
Well, we did 5. It was.
But there's a couple of places that we've seen recently, be it jobs we've done or things that have just come up in the media. We're like, oh my god, how clever! One of them was an activity centre, like an outward bound activity centre, and they had the main structure or whatever they're doing outside, but their photographs are all on the assault course and stuff. Fantastic. So they had one of those big seesaw things, and they had the bride and groom on one side and the wedding party on the other, and it was all balanced out. That was quite clever. But there are vineyards, there are outdoor centres, there are campsites. There was the scout.
What's the vineyard we go to? Cottonworth,
and it's got it's called a maze, and they have the marquees or the teepees are in the centre, and then they have
they've grown the vines into
a circle. All the vines are in a big spiral in front of it, so it just makes for nice, most stunning pictures. And again, you've been brought up in Andover, and you never knew that was there.
No, and that's it. I think the moral to the story is these absolutely amazing gems, nuggets are all there, and you know we see in the Outside Bride all the brides and the couples. Like we saw some homemade confetti this week, and we know, is it Charlotte who went foraging for bottles?
Miss Stunning foraging woman.
You know, and if you want to continue that theme of making your own stuff, searching for your own stuff, then these venues are there to be found. They're absolutely there to be found. And the thing is, they're not always on HampshireWeddingVenues.com or Dorset or Norfolk Wedding. And it is that. Well, it's that thinking outside the box, isn't it? It is that, you don't need to have a rich friend in a mansion with a 5-acre garden to be able to put a marquee up.
But in terms of actual fixed venues and proper venues, myself and Hannah... Hi, Hannah.
Whoa. You can't just segue in. I'm now going to go. So what have you been up to today, Emily?
So, in terms
you can't just steal the conversation. It was not a flow. You stole the conversation. Hold on. Anyway, that's where I was at the weekend. Emily, what have you been up to today?
Today, Hannah and myself, hi Hannah, we were very lucky to be able to go to one of the press days at a New Hampshire wedding venue that's launching or has launched. They're yet to have their first wedding. Their first wedding is going to be in September, so we went to see it in its very rawest state. It's still got a lot of work to be done to it in terms of the groundworks and stuff, but it was a barn, and what I loved about it is called the Abington, or the barn at Abington.
Can I interject very quickly?
Yep.
we in the office have the conversation about barns as outdoor weddings a lot. And we've sort of agreed that in principle, a barn wedding's an outdoor wedding.
It depends, because this particular venue was actually tied in with outside weddings perfectly. It was a barn, but the outside space and the ceremony space and the glamping side of it.
And those sleeping pods, we've put a picture up.
We put it today. It was like it's an apex. It was really nice, and what I liked about this particular barn, unlike some of the millions of barns we see all the time on social media and stuff, which are lovely, all very rustic.
No, you can't diss anyone.
I'm not dissing. I'm saying they're all very rustic, very.
We love them all.
Wooden clad or stone or very oldie worldy kind of. They look like they're grade 2 listed all the time. This was a very industrial barn, almost like with corrugated iron. It was an industrial standard modern barn with an ironclad ceiling, roof, corrugated ceiling, and
like the
brick.
Tin.
A bit like it, yeah, and brick. But it was clinical, wasn't it? If you saw the pictures, it was white walls, really all whitewashed walls.
But I quite liked that kind of blank canvas effect. Yes.
You weren't there.
Well, no, you've shown me the pictures. I've seen the videos.
It had white walls. It had like a concrete poured floor. It had lovely big Edison bulbs going through it. So it had that really like industrial, urban, minimalist kind of space, but it's a complete blank canvas, and I really liked it. I think there are things that people could do. Some people don't always like to have complete blank canvases, but I think if you had the image, and some of their website images and some of their star shoot images they've had these massive, like they get the big flower clouds, like big massive things. They had them suspended from the ceilings, and they're beautiful. And I like with barns sometimes, even though it's not as a traditional outside space, you can bring that outside element in, and then almost tie that in with if they've got gardens or grass outside. You can really kind of bring the two together, so it becomes one big space together. And I liked it. And their ceremony space overlooked the water, and it was all very pretty.
Anything water works for me, doesn't it? So no.
So that's what I did.
That's fab. So let's be brutally honest. We haven't got any questions this evening. So if you have a question about your wedding, feel free to post it up. So that's why we are covering all these bits, and we have a few more bits to go through. We were meant to ask this at the beginning, but I don't know if this is a relevant question anymore. So we're not. Ask. Right, yeah. Anyway, if you're planning your wedding at the moment, what is your current predicament? What's the pain point you like, don't you? What is the current predicament? What's the pain point? What's the bit that if you do wake up early, the wind's picking up outside and our patio umbrella was starting to go like this, and I was like, oh, do I need to tie that down? Well, yeah, what is your pain point? What is the bit that you think about when you go, oh, bugger, I haven't solved that yet? And it can't be the groom, because in theory you're happy with them, all right? Or it can't be the bride to be, because in theory you're happy with them as well. I need to stop playing with Lily Rose's hair clip. So what is your pain point? What's your current predicament? Feel free to pop it up here, and we will, if you want us to, offer an opinion to see if we can help. Anyway, moving on. So we've covered, we've got that to cover. And we've got this to cover. Let's do this, or do you want to do that?
I'll do that quickly, yeah.
Well, I was going to do that. Well, you do that, and then I will just mention the question they put in the group this week.
Okay. We just need to say a massive, massive, massive,
huge.
Congratulations.
What does she do in Pretty Woman? Huge, something like that.
I don't know.
Keep going. No, you like all those films.
I like Pretty Woman. Helen Day, who is in this group, she's one of our brides. She's one of my brides, actually, that I've been working with. She is getting married this weekend. So to Helen and Kieran, we wish you a very happy, 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 happy wedding weekend, and we hope you have an amazing day. And we can't wait to see the pictures afterwards.
Yeah, we're putting some tents up for you. And really, and more than that, your venue styling.
So we have been involved with their wedding for a good old year or so now, maybe a little bit longer than that, maybe 18 months it's been. We've been involved with their wedding, and they're having it at a campsite. They're having a really, really lovely, low-key, relaxed, family fun weekend, and we are very happy to be helping with their styling. And I'm not going to say anything about their styling right now until after the event.
Yeah, definitely.
But I can't wait to share the pictures with you because Helen, it's a blinder. It's really, really cool. And I'm really going to do the biggest of sundances for you this weekend because it deserves to have it.
Well, the last forecast I saw said it was going to be sunny on Saturday. The other thing is Helen did pop a question into the group this week. She asked about marquee heaters. Helen's got a Capri marquee. For those of you who don't know, that's... I don't know how to explain it.
They're more of the party tent style, aren't they? They're more.
I don't think that doesn't.
They're dome-like. They.
With dome-like with points in the corners, and they look absolutely fantastic. To coin my special phrase, they look. They're amazing. And Helen was asking about does she need a heater? So with my marquee company hat on, but I don't wear anymore, but I like to don for these sorts of things. We always said, you do not need a marquee heater outside of May to August. Saying that, we got married September the 15th with a marquee heater and it didn't get switched on. We had 120 odd plus people dancing and drunk. 144 dancing and drunk in our marquee, and there was no need to turn it on. Hi Gary. Saying that, the forecast is looking slightly cooler on Saturday. So, you know what? If you're not sure, I appreciate you have a budget, you're trying to work to it, you don't want to pay for these things that you don't want to pay for. But I get the pressures about cold. No one likes being cold. So, I think a marquee heater's probably 150, 200. I've seen them.
I don't know what the price is.
Well, I did say to Helen, and I don't always like putting these things out in public, but when we used to cross hire them in marquee world, we would hire them back out, and we did not make a big markup. We used to do those sorts of things more or less at cost as part of the the package we were offering. I think we used to put it out at about 150.
Yeah.
But we had found a particularly reasonable supplier. There was another supplier we used who... Sorry, I thought it was a kid awake.
It is a child awake. Ignore it.
Yeah, was a lot more expensive. But then we've seen that before. I've seen that when cross-hiring linings from a couple of local companies. One company was twice the price of another company for exactly the same product. And like when I say the same, it's not like to use... I'll be back.
What I would say though with marquee heater, especially if you've got a Capri marquee, they are brilliant. They do keep the heat in, well, they're quite good at chucking out the heat, and if you've got 80 bodies though, it's going to get sweaty already. But if you've got the big old doors, because in Capri marquees you have almost like the half moon shaped doors, if any of them are unzipped and you're using them as entranceways, a marquee heater is pretty much redundant because the space of that doorway, all your hot air is going straight outside, rather than if you've got a traditional marquee or a clear span marquee, when you've got all the wall sides and a smaller doorway, the heat will kind of stay in more. So consider a marquee, consider a heater if that's really what you want. But I think with the style of the marquee you're going for, I would probably say bring a load more blankets, tell everyone to take a warm layer, and just get everyone to be moving around lots, because if they're inside and outside all the time, that heat's just going to be dissipated and you're not going to really feel the benefit in it, and it's 150 quid you don't need to spend if it's just blowing hot air into nothing. But yeah, you don't have to go through your marquee company to do it. You can go to some of those industrial sort of hardware, like Screwfix on Speed, those sort of things. You can hire them separately there, and they're probably a little bit cheaper for you, but you'd have to be responsible for returning it and delivering all the delivery and stuff on top of that. So do your research. But to be honest, it's not going to rain between now and Saturday. If it does get a little bit cooler, ultimately you're still going to be all in the marquee. If it was wet and cold, you're going to be in the marquee together with the doors all shut up. Keep those doors zipped in. Keep your bodies inside, and the body heat alone, with everyone moving around and talking and having a few drinks and stuff, you shouldn't feel too bad, all contained. And actually, if anything, you're right. From being at a Capri wedding before,
still on Capri, Mark.
they do get quite condensationally, so you might feel it actually gets too hot.
Yeah, no, they're fine. Quick update: our oldest, Lydia Rose, bless her.
Do not put this on social media.
you don't know what I'm going to say. She's not been very well, and she was up and she was wandering around going, Dad, I want to come downstairs. I'm like, no, baby, it's night time. So I put her back into bed and tucked her in, but bless her, she was wandering around. She got up and gone to the toilet and was wandering back round to her bed. It was like looking all confused at the top of the stairs.
She's not been very well at all this week.
No, she's not been very well. Right,
so yeah,
cool.
Think about it and look at how many guests you've got, what style of marquee you've got, are your doors going to be wide open, and could you do the same with some IKEA £1.50 blankets?
Yes. Okay. The only other thing is that, unless you want to say this next week.
So the other thing I was going to bring up as a conversation, unless anyone has a question today, which is all very quiet, you all must be doing amazingly well with your planning. We obviously have this group, and we have a secondary group that we work on, which is called the Outdoor Wedding Supplier Network, which is a pool of people, all who have amazing talents and skills in the outdoor wedding industry, from bar companies to people like us from Baylily Bell Tents, to celebrants, to everything, any element of outdoor weddings. We have a dedicated group for them to discuss best practice and helping to engage with brides and, discussing ideas and thoughts about the outdoor wedding industry, because we're growing, we're doing really well. Outdoor weddings, like you know, are getting more and more popular. People are loving the fact that they can design their own day, have it special to them without having to be told in a hotel what time to eat, what time to pee, what time to turn the music down, what time to, all of this. So one of the questions we put in the group this week was how we can expand our reach to people, and a lot of people were talking about having wedding fairs, and we've done wedding fairs in the past, haven't we? And we've run wedding fairs in the past. We had a very good wedding fair, a good 4 years ago now, which was a outdoor festival style wedding fair, which was again purely for Wedfests, and it was a party all day with live music and entertainment and circus acts and bell tents and food stands and ice cream brands
and an awesome marquee company.
But we did that and we loved it, and it was a really, really successful event. And we were just talking about potentially organising another outdoor wedding style event, and then it was just the discussion point was, would that be a national style event? Would that be a local style event? Would you want one per county? And then it carried on a bit as a discussion as how many brides, and we're asking you directly, and if you could put your answers on a postcard or potentially in the comments below, that'd be really helpful, have either attended a wedding fair, and if you have you found
I'll put a poll up in the morning as well.
Have you found that wedding fair of any use for you, or has it just been to go and taste the cake samples? And have you found your supplier via a wedding fair? And that's a really important one. Have you found any of your key suppliers for your event via a wedding fair? Do you find them useful? Because it's all very well us saying we will put together an amazing event.
We haven't said that. You just said it. But we haven't said
if
that.
We were to put together an amazing event, would it be of use to brides, or is it just going to be a networking event for suppliers? So would love to know, if it was a wedding event, would you attend? Would you have you been to anything like the National Wedding Show in London, or at Excel, or in Birmingham? Have you been to any of the bigger fairs, and have they attracted you? And if they have attracted you, what is it that you've gone to? Have you had a specific reason to go, or is it just to have a bit of a nose, or is it because you like a glass of bubbly and wanted to be part of the wedding buzz? We would really, really like to know, because like I said, it's something we've considered, and we have got experience in running wedding fairs, and we just want to know whether it's something that you would be interested in if we were to, obviously not to you because you're already getting married, but if brides and grooms are looking at wedding fairs, is that something that would be of appeal to you? Could look at also wedding fair weekends, glamping.
We shouldn't be sounding out our ideas.
Why not?
No, I don't know.
These guys are our family now. These are our happy family.
Hey family.
Who want to talk about weddings all the time, so why not ask? There's no point in running events that people don't want.
Yeah, I agree with that. If we run an event, I'm going to host Burgerfest.
Have you talked about Burgerfest?
No, I haven't talked about Burgerfest. I might say Burgerfest for next week.
Ooh, that'll bring you in next week. Anyone at all? Anyone want to speak to us? Anyone want to put a thumbs up and say you're here?
No.
There are people on, I can see them.
No, we're drawing a line under today.
You're all very quiet.
You've been waffling. You waffled about Capri Marquees for 10 minutes.
You got on a flight suit last week.
Yeah, but I did not waffle about Capri Marquees for 10 minutes.
Oh,
anyway, guys, I want to say thank you all for your time, as always, tonight. We absolutely love doing Ask an Expert. We'd like to thank you all for watching. We hope you found it informative and it's answered questions.
Oh, there's something there.
We went to a few local ones. They were really mixed. One was very awkward. We were basically oh no, is this going to go wrong? Oh, there we go. It worked. We're basically the only ones that ended up choosing a wedding car at an event. Oh, that's cool. That's good to know. And when I say we, what I mean is Emily. Emily chose a magician at a wedding
We mentioned this in a live before.
Yeah, but I think you're allowed to mention the magician. Well, I mentioned the magician in the yellow tuxedo live, so that's only 2 weeks ago. But
and we mentioned the week before.
No, it was not the week before. I don't think we can ever tire of you and the magician.
It was really creepy.
Yeah, but you chose him. Anyway, right, that's it. Rosemary, thank you for letting us know.
We're going to put a poll in, and it'd be good to know your feedback.
I'm going to put a poll in tomorrow morning, I think. I'm not going to do it this evening. So thank you, as always, for watching. We hope you've enjoyed it. We hope you found it informative.
Once again, congratulations to Helen and Kieran.
Yeah. And I'm sorry Emily's back. I will go back to me hosting it by myself. Thumbs up if you'd rather I hosted it by myself. Come on.
Don't do it.
Come on. No,
it.
Nothing. Right, that's only a joke. You know it's a joke. We're off to drink some more Prosecco, celebrating Emily's return.
No, this is not a Prosecco because it's not a Prosecco glass. This is strawberry gin on Prosecco.
Nice. We're off to do that. I'm going to go and make sure Lydia Rose is okay. And we look forward to chatting to you in the group that is The Outside Bride and on Ask an Expert next week. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.